Hello and welcome back to the Daily Saints pod. My name is Greg. Once again today joined by my good friend and wonderful co-host Zach. And mate, how are you doing?
Yeah, mate, I'm not too bad. I am on the mend from my illness. I have unfortunately had to go to the opticians and fork out some money for some new glasses. That has unfortunately resulted in an enforced bit of holiday from work because I can't sit in front of a screen for too long at the moment. And that is, our day job. So that's fine. I'm going to make the most of it. I'm really looking forward to joining you tonight at St Mary's. So that's going to be good fun. So yeah, like it's weird. I've got an extended period of time off ahead of me, and I can't do my normal hobbies. So to be honest, it means I'm going to get a load of housework done and go for a couple of walks and stuff. So yeah, I am really good. But Greg, as I am a chronic oversharer, and as all of our listeners will know by this point, everything that I get up to and all of my feelings all the time. How about you, mate? How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm alright. I'm good. I was saying it was a bit strange this weekend because for the first time in what feels like a long time, uh, not getting the opportunity to go to St Mary's.
Mm.
It'd been a whole 4 days, and I was starting to feel a bit lost. And maybe there's just a bit of like otherwhelming sadness coming in because like it was my nipper's last day of his football season as well. So Saturday mornings are going to look a bit different as we sort of close out the real season and his season, and no double headers of football on a Saturday. It's sad, isn't it? It's going to
Yeah,
give my wife more opportunities to make me do chores or go shopping. That's not what anyone wants in their life.
anyone that's like long term listening to this podcast knows that me and Greg have very opposite lives. I have like two or three things in my calendar for the day, and that is too much. And then Greg will show me his calendar for just one of his children, and it'll be like, here's the 7 things they're getting up to today. And this is why I need to be here at like 12:30. I'm dropping them off at 1. Then I'm doing this at 2. And I am already exhausted just hearing about it.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like it's the thing that keeps you going, whereas as opposed to me, who would be like, "Oh, that's just a little bit too much."
Well, yeah, it's like you said before. It's the chaos that I thrive in. It's really
You
where it
do,
comes
you
good. But
really thrive in chaos.
but look, speaking of chaos, I mean, another game at St Mary's tonight. Going to be nice to have you tagging along with us. Going to be good,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
good fun. I don't know if we haven't done the research before the episode, mate, and looking at results. I don't know if it's a game we should be looking forward to. Is it? I mean, not
Mate,
great history.
where I'm at, yeah, is I kind of take the same approach that Todd has taken when he was asked this question, which is sort of like, I think he was asked about the bogey team status, and he was just like, okay, like, I don't really care, whatever. This is the first I've heard of it this week, and also considering the things that we've managed to achieve, sort of this season so far, like we shouldn't really come into this with a level of fear around superstition because we're the ones that ultimately will create our own destiny.
Yeah,
And also, if you look at that last game and the stats and how it played out and the way that it was structured, there is a reason that we lost that game. And I don't think as I've said it quite a few times, it is almost like a season of two. It almost feels like a completely different season under Will Still, right? Just the way the vibes were, the players, some of them still settling in.
mm.
You had Ryan Fraser starting over both Tom Fellows and Batsuki, which is absolutely like nuts when you think about it. This was
Yeah,
back when we had Edwards in the side, who's now at QPR. You had McCarthy in goal, who was chosen over Bazunu at the time. Azaz didn't even get on the pitch the entirety of the game. It was just some very sort of like, it was a very bizarre game in my opinion. And we also had, like, regardless of everybody's opinion on Damien Downs, right? I don't want to kick a man while he's down. Excuse the pun, but like, he's struggle bussing in Germany, as you may be, or may not be aware. He's having a bad time. He can't even play really at the moment without sort of being heckled, and that is an unfortunate reality for anybody, right? To not be able to do your job through fear of retaliation. It's got to
mm.
suck. However, I don't think he was really built to be confident and successful at our place if you are bringing him on with 12 minutes to go 3-1 down to try and do something.
Yeah,
It
it,
feels like a lifetime ago.
it's like actually the antithesis of what we've seen in the last couple of games. Tonda actually do with Cameron Archer, right?
Yes.
Like that is we talked about his confidence levels being low in a case where he's managed to build that back up and build the confidence and mentality up, and yeah, it's just sensational, really. But yeah, the completely different team now than we were
Mm-hmm.
then, and it is still going to be a tricky one though. I think, like,
100%. It's not going to be an easy game.
I mean, Roy Hodgson, of course, now in charge of Bristol City as well,
Mm-hmm.
is a manager that comes with more experience in football than years our manager has been alive.
Yeah, I think like Roy Hodgson has a pedigree about him, right?
Yeah,
Like there's no other way of putting it. Like he is a man that everybody has known. You know, he was England manager for a little bit as well. It is something that I don't think we can take lightly.
no,
And also, they will be bolstered by the fact that they have done it once before. They will probably be bolstered by the fact that they think there is that bogey team element, right?
mm.
I don't know whether or not Roy will be aware of that, but the team will be, especially as they were the ones to break our last unbeaten run, right? So yeah,
Yes,
it's going to be difficult, but at the same time, we are in very very different times and different stages of both the season and where we were and where we were
mm.
going at that time, right? Like they were still on a bit more of a promotion charge back then.
Yeah,
We were kind of struggling, right? This was in that period of really struggle bossing games, and it was a massively disappointing one for us at the time. And
mm.
you pointed out how this was the game that they had like 4 shots on target and scored with 3 of them, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah,
like this is a time where I hate XG. You're aware of this, but I will throw out there to Jimmy Cheese, who is a big supporter of us, and I really appreciate him. And everyone should go check out his YouTube channel as well. But he pointed out that like he uses it more as a tool as opposed to looking at it as a stat, and I think that's an interesting way of reframing it. And like when we sort of look at the fact that our XG that game was 1.84, theirs was 1.49, but they managed to score 3 goals. I guess what you can say is that they managed to score probably some soft goals against McCarthy, which is a thing that when we see the argument that I think that I saw recently, which is slightly controversial, of Peretz not being great. I just remember back to these games where 70% of the possession, like a bunch of shots on target, still lost 3-1. And
yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy. You're right, and look, it's not going to be an easy game,
when is
but
it?
motivations count, right? And we've got a lot to
Hard.
play for. Bristol City now not able to make the playoffs, so arguably you don't want to use the term on the beach necessarily. I don't think any team playing under Roy Hodgson is really going to have that mentality. But this season only Millwall have conceded less goals than Bristol, so they it could be their successive clean sheet on the road for the first time since October. So I guess like they concede, but not a lot. So it's gonna be tight. I don't think we're gonna be. Saw some people online, contemplating like the permeations of fixtures and that maybe this is the game we need to target to get more goals to bolster our goal difference. And I don't know if that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be probably a reasonably tough game that's
Yes.
going to require patience probably to break down. I think the team's going to be quite organised.
It's the thing that everyone is sick of me talking about. You're probably sick of me hearing about it, but it's again, it's like the not wanting to go into any game with arrogance. We cannot come into a
Mm.
game and just assume we're going to batter a team 5-0.
Yeah,
Okay, might have happened once or twice this season, don't get me wrong, but that's been fantastic. But that isn't, we shouldn't go, this is the game we need to come in and win by a significant amount of goals.
yeah,
The main aim for every single game at the moment is to win. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter if it's 1-0, it would be awful if that's the case, but that is the ultimate aim of the game, and that is obviously what they have been briefed up to do. Right? Is it going to be the fate is in our own hands? But to do that, we need to win, and I think we need to kind of maybe take a step back from the idea of completely demolishing every team we come across. Obviously, I'd love it. I'd love to see it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to underestimate a team that has already beaten us once this season, and bogey status or not, is a team that we haven't had a very recent good record against. So, hopefully Fortress St Mary's turns it around, and that is the thing that pushes everybody through, and we have a bit more of a fun over the game.
Mm.
But ultimately, you can't discount the opponent, and you can't. I just don't like the argument of being like, this is the game we should batter people. Like, surely if you're going to take that approach, do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't think it is going to be that kind of game, but you're right. Vibes, motivation, and home energy is going to be good. It's going to be high. The whole stadium going to be looking forward to trip to Wembley. Seeing stuff out on the socials about make it yellow for the day to celebrate the trip to Wembley. Atmosphere should be good. It's an exciting time to be a Saints fan. We say it plenty on the show, and our form at home is only serves to help boost that as well. The energy is going to be good. It's just that's worth taking into account. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see. Look, we've done the breakdown on the accounts, and we know categorically that the priority is getting promoted. Right, that is job one, and the dreams of the FA Cup and beating City potentially are there, but we can't look past this game to the FA Cup semi-final because we still need to win this game. And we've put an incredible amount of effort in to be in a position now where even a point from this game effectively secures us playoffs mathematically, right? Which is fantastic. But we've actually done such a good job of that's not even the thought on everyone's mind, right? The thought is we got to win this game and all of the rest of the games to try and get automatics. And if results aren't happening elsewhere, and Millwall drop a goal behind, and or Ipswich drop a goal behind, that's another thing that can put a spring of life into the step of St Mary's, right? It's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be a really good energy in the stadium, and it's hard to see really how the team aren't going to feed off of that and just push on and do the good stuff.
How can it not be good energy, right? Like, this is the most league wins we've had in a row since
1908, 1909 was the last time.
When you say that out loud and you start to think about it, it's insane. And regardless of whether or not we're kind of forgetting how many games we're also unbeaten, which just because we've had an unbeaten streak in the past. But yeah, this is a
19 in all competitions.
There you go. An absolutely phenomenal. We've started the bottle of Arsenal as well, much to the joy of everyone. Around the Premier League who aren't Arsenal supporters. It's a very, 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 very good time, and there will be high energy, and it will be a good place to be. But what we cannot do, as you have pointed out, is allow complacency to set in. And complacency resulted in us conceding a goal against Swansea. It made that fight against Swansea significantly harder than it needed to be. And that is exactly what we'll be trying to avoid tonight, right? And that is, as you pointed out, you need to make sure that you're not looking past it.
Absolutely. So
every game's a cup final, as you pointed out, right? Right.
But with that in mind, mate, let's talk about the team sheet and how we see it lining up. We saw, was it 5 or 6 changes on Saturday? I can't quite remember. It was a few. And as has been the way when we're playing games this quick in comparison, we're probably going to see a few changes again. Team Tuesday, right? Probably coming in. So, I mean,
probably.
Let's start at the back and work our way up as we like to do. Obviously, Peretz is in goal. There's no question marks, not a discussion point. In fact, I think probably the whole back line is probably set in stone for this game, right?
Yeah, when you were like, hey, yeah, we should discuss Correct, yeah. And I'm like, at the back line, like, do we? Like, okay.
Yeah, I
If
think it'll
Stevens
be.
is fully fit, Stevens starts over
Yeah,
what
it'll be.
tonight
I
now.
think we'll see Stevens, Harwood Bellis, Bree, and Manning, especially as Manning is suspended for the semi final.
Yep.
So
Oh, I forgot
so we'll
that.
be presumably
Horrible.
seeing
Anyway,
Wellington for 90 minutes in that
sure.
outing. So yeah, Manning will be presumably playing a full game tonight. Looking up the pitch, we previously saw Downs and Yander rotated for Charles and Bragg. Think we do the same again?
I wouldn't be surprised if Bragg gets a look in just to keep
Mm.
Yander fresh for the. Sorry, just keep Downs for fresh for the weekend, and also, I, hmm, I he showed a lot of fighting spirit, Swansea. Just worried if it was a little bit too much, and maybe just needs a bit of calm. Like maybe he comes on half time. I think Bragg has deserved his starts recently.
Mm.
I think he's worked incredibly hard. He is sort of not an unsung hero because we have a fair few unsung heroes, right? Like
Mm.
arguably the points that Cameron Archer has won, you could count as unsung. Uh, Larin came in with basically almost minus expectations from a vast majority of the fan base. To be honest, as we will hold ourselves accountable, us included, we did not think that was going to be a good bit of business, and it turned out to be. We turned out to be incredibly wrong.
Well, it turns out that not only was it a good bit of business, but actually the option to buy at his reported price is an absolute no-brainer, right?
It's basically a steal, right?
Yeah.
it's almost feels like robbery. But but he is also somebody that has broken through. Everybody thought it would truly be like Jay Robinson's season. I think obviously injury hampered him a little bit, and also sort of trying to play in the position of Zaz, who's kind of undroppable, or Cienza, who when he's fit is also undroppable. The return of a Dozy, like it's there's been so many, I guess, like woven stories into the tapestry of this season, but Cam Bragg can't be one that's like forgotten about. And
Mm.
I think so. Yeah, I think that he has probably done plenty enough to get a start. I wouldn't be surprised if it's him and Charles. But as we point out about that position, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe Yander gets another game because of just like he had a really good game last game, and his form's been very very good. But also, as Tonda pointed out previously, because of how little he played last season, he's actually played significantly more this season than he did the last. There's going to be fitness concerns and things like that there.
Mm.
And then
Well,
the
look, that's it.
conditioning is there for like it is for Leo at this point, right? So
Playing every 4 days for the rest of the season is a physical effort. Especially,
you'll
it's
need rotation.
been a long season already, right, for a lot of these players. So yeah, and rotation is important.
Yeah, you forget because it's like on top of the fact we've already played 43 games there, and this will be game 44. You've got to add all the cup games in as well,
Yeah.
and all of that. Both cups, regardless of whether or not we went out of one. Like there's still so much football that's been played, and it's great because you get all the sort of complaints from some Premier League clubs, or even I think it was Blackburn who criticised us because of the change that had to take place to their schedule, right? And they're like, "Oh, this is so unfair," and I'm like, I understand why maybe that you're annoyed that you don't have enough preparation time, but that has basically been how
Was
it's felt
literally
for us.
also the only slot left in our
Yeah,
calendar to fit the game.
that's kind of my point. Is we've been having to play so many games. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think we have the luxury of the midfield being a place where pretty much anyone goes into that position, we're fine. Again, the only one that would make me raise eyebrows is Romeu. That's it. And even then, I would I guess it's on that we trust, but
Yeah.
it feels like he's far more there for moral support than anything else.
Yeah, experience and personality. Look, we've talked about the togetherness of the dressing room and how much it's changed and how much it's come together. And you've got to think that personalities in there like Romeu and Leo, kind of, and even Stevens. We've seen a lot from Stevens of sort of bringing the team together. Just they go a long way to do that, and we've shown how important that is. But yeah, you're right. Midfield, any of them will be happy. Azaz in that number 10 role, or do we think Archer comes back in?
If he's fit, probably. But I also wouldn't be opposed to Archer, who seems to be on a
Yeah.
bit of a hot streak right now. So why
I
would
say Archer, but I guess actually it would be Matsky in the 10 role and Archer on the left that we've seen. rotating in, I guess, for Leo, which kind of makes sense because we started Leo. Leo got what, full 90 on Saturday, so we'll
Mm-hmm.
probably see him rotated out because we'd expect him to start against City.
Maybe this is, I guess, the beauty we have of the amount of
Yeah,
rotation we've been doing. I reckon Fellows gets a game.
yeah. That's
Uh,
what, so. I think Fellows, Matsky, Archer, and Larin, because Stewart started on Saturday, and it just seems to they just seem
mhm.
to swap. Yeah, it's pretty deadly lineup. I mean, Larin and Archer, as well as the work rate Archer's been putting in, Larin and Archer actually last week seemed to have some really good chemistry together as
Mm.
well. So I like that pair, and that playing Cam as the technically out on the left, but really kind of more. Here goes, Zach, you'll like this. Is some football manager lingo. More like a left inside forward.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
But yeah, it's with I guess Manning coming up behind him and sort of creating the width to allow him that option to be inside a bit deeper. But yeah, I like it. I like Tonda has at this point more than earned the right to name 11 players that we've never heard of, and I would fully believe that is the squad that's going to do the job. Right? It's not.
Yeah,
It's not the same disbelief we've had in Saints managers for as long as I can humanly
the
remember.
the
Where
coaching team and the morale of the team and Tonda have managed to get a, quite frankly, depressed, sad Cameron Archer who was unable to get a move, who, we genuinely thought we'd seen the last of him, scoring 2 goals in a row during the most important run in our season, in arguably a slightly different position to what he's used to playing in some of those cases. So, yeah, I don't mind who, what, where, when, how. I just hope that we get a win. I guess is the main thing. But as you also pointed out, even if the worst should happen and we end up with a draw, then we still then hopefully have done enough to be in the playoffs.
yeah,
And the heavens above forbid that we end up losing tomorrow, because it genuinely just doesn't feel like that we're ever going to do that again. And he says that, touching all of the wood, the solid wooden desk here, because I don't want to predict a loss for tomorrow.
yeah,
Because we're flying, and
doubly so, mate, because you're banned from the Northern if it's you coming to sit with us that causes a loss. You know that, like.
oh, don't send me back to Itchen. No offense to anyone in Itchen. It was just, I think the biggest problem from when I went was my wonderful wife joined me, and I really, really appreciated the fact that she came along and is getting us involved in the football nowadays, and knows players and has conversations with me about it, which is, she's taken a real big interest in it, specifically this season because we're winning lots and I'm less miserable. But I think that combined with like where we were sat, the fact that I am significantly more vocal than I think she's used to at the football, I think I am looking forward to being stood next to you again, Greg, where I can shout, swear, and no one like bats an eyelid. Whereas it was quite difficult to do that when I was in the sky, right in the corner, and with my wife, who was not expecting, I guess, the level of behaviour, hooliganism, she would call it. I don't call it that. I call it passion that we would have at the game. So please don't send me back, Greg. Like
Well,
how you point out that your kids are no longer allowed to sit anywhere else. Unfortunately, it's now resulted in me also not really being able to sit many places else.
I like
But
that you say no longer, like it's them sitting there that was the cause and not us choosing to sit there because they were uh, maybe too feral to sit in the
no, no,
quiet family zone, mate. Uh,
you're right. You're right, 100%. So yeah, but of course, again, I would accept the ban though. I get it. When we were 1-0 down at half time, my wife was like, "So am I allowed to come again?" I was like, "Not if we lose the game." But then we ended up winning, so she is to win.
let's
Yeah.
good stuff. Right, let's move on to the historic and prediction section, mate.
Oh, you're going to
No,
speak
I've
to
got
a
to go
robot
with
friend.
the summary. You know that I love it. So obviously, look, our form is sensational. 16 unbeaten, 16 unbeaten in the league overall, 13 wins, 3 draws. Mad, right? Last 5 games at home, all wins. Last 5 games away, 4 wins and a draw. just, just the tippy top of the form table in all of Europe is
Good
nuts.
grief. You know, to be fair, you know it's noticeable when some of like the big Twitter accounts start talking about us, and you're like, oh, well, we're producing engagement with the level of form we have. That's insane. Whereas
Yeah.
previously, the only way we would have that level of engagement is, wow, this team's worse almost than Derby. So you know,
Yeah. It's what the AI calls a heavy home edge under the lights, with goals very much in play. It leans towards a Southampton win with their home
nice,
win rate of 57% and a home
interesting.
XG advantage with 1.78 expected on average for Saints, with Bristol's away XG at 1.34. So the market suggests a 60% win probability with over 1.5 goals as the pick, 2.5 not as likely. So I mean, I read that, mate, as a 1-0 or a 2-0,
Interesting.
which is very interesting.
You're telling me it's decided finally to not predict a 2-1? It's taken
I
an
mean,
entire year
to
for
be
it to
honest,
pick something different.
it veers in this instance specifically away from naming a score. Like, it very
Wow.
definitively doesn't, but does suggest that over 10.5 corners is a good shout. So,
Okay.
interesting. What about you, mate? What are you feeling?
I'm feeling the reverse of the previous fixture, and I'm feeling 3-1. And I'm
Yeah.
feeling that Cameron Archer scores a goal. I feel that Cole Laren scores a goal. And Greg, because it is the time to break the curse against a bogey team, and because it isn't you making the prediction, I predict Tom Fellows will score a goal.
Wow.
And honestly, if I break that curse and it turns out it just needed to be me all along, I would be the actual true villain of the story and not you. So that's my feelings, mate.
What's the storyline of that game? Are we fighting back from 1-0 down? Are we giving away an equaliser and then going on to win it, or are we already 3-0 up when they score?
Hit for tat, then we score again, and then we score another goal at the end.
Okay.
That's the vibe that I've got. I don't know whether that will play out that way, but you know, I think that it's, as with football, mate, predicting anything is like a roll of the dice, and it's not something we can usually get quite right. Although to be fair, I've had more right this year than I've ever had previously, so that's been quite
Yeah.
nice.
Me
You,
too.
you
I got
not so
one.
much. All right. You're right. Yeah, no, that's not entirely true. You got one last season because you predicted we'd win every game, and eventually we
Yeah.
didn't win a game.
Not the right score, though.
No.
But this is a tricky one for me. I think, look, the fact that they've conceded the second least goals in the championship speaks volumes, right? I think it's going to
Yes.
be a tricky affair. I think they're going to be very well organised defensively. I think they're going to be fairly happy to leave with a 0-0 if the opportunity presents itself. Obviously, I think they'd prefer a win, but at the end of the day, in the context of the wider season, they're not playing for anything
It's
per
like what Swansea
se.
had, isn't it? It's just wanting to finish as high as you can for more price
Yeah,
saved and potentially slightly more money. So it's not the end of the world as much as it is for us.
yeah, and actually, in terms of like coming up against solidly well organised defensive teams or teams that sit with a low block, actually in our current form and in recent memory, we've done pretty well at breaking through that reasonably early on in the first sort of half an hour or so, generally. And then the game opens up a bit, and you can't be as decisive. They try and push back for something, and it kind of seems to go away. I think even if that is the case and we manage to get a goal early on, I don't think that's going to stretch the game in the way it has done in the past. I think it's pretty clear that they like to keep it tight, and even if are conceding semi-frequently in amount of games, they very rarely concede more than one in a game. So I'm going to go for A nervous, horrible 1-0.
I just, I just can't believe that I live in a world where recently I've been slightly more optimistic than you as a Saints fan. I think that there is something fundamentally broken with the cogs of the universe.
Mate, what's less optimistic than keeping a clean sheet and winning? Like,
True. I guess for correct, mate, you're right. That's probably the perfect score.
yeah, I think that.
Don't do it. You're not allowed.
Look, let's can Archer get 3 and 3,
That would be something. That'd probably
and
be his best scoring record for us at that point, right?
I don't think it'll be until the second half that we break through. I think it'll be 9-0 at half time, because I think at that point it's testing the patience of St Mary's, because we are an impatient bunch, and sometimes, especially if we're not starting off on the front foot fast, it's easy to get nervy, because at the end of the day, we're still Saints fans. We know, right? We've been there. We've experienced the full range of footballing emotions. So yeah, I think it'll be like 70 minutes or something until we manage to get a goal, and then yeah, they won't have an answer. We'll just hold out at that point. That's
Good.
how I see it playing out.
Perfect. Do you know what? Either scenario, I'm happy with. What I'm really hoping for is a win. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. I'm really hoping the weather that we've had time of recording holds for tomorrow, and we just have a wonderful evening. I look forward to hopefully managing a beer, depending on how late you make us arrive.
We'll see. I think it'll be all right. I don't think the delays to arrival should affect the amount of alcohol consumed. I think we'll be all right, mate. It's fine. I think we'll have a fantastic night out, and you can look forward to an even more unhinged late night recording after a couple of beers at St Mary's. That's for sure.
Nice, happy days, mate.
But listen, let us know your scores and how you think the game will play out on the socials in the comments. We are Daily Saints Pod, absolutely everywhere. X, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Hit us up, let us know. We love hearing from you. And shout out to the person correcting me on stumbling over my maths. Yes, if we beat Ipswich and they drop points, doesn't matter about goal difference. In fact, to be fair, the amount of permutations that end up having goal difference matter at all are really low, actually. It's just 1s and 3s in points make it quite hard to land on the same. So it'll be interesting. But
shout out to Jimmy Cheese as well. Go check him out too. He's a great content creator in the Saints space. Shout out to everyone, long-term listeners. Shout out to a lot of the regulars that we have that comment on all the bits and pieces. We see it all, we read it all. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah. It goes a long way to helping us out, for sure.
It really does. Sometimes, we had to motivate ourselves through the dark times to get here.
Absolutely. And now we are enjoying the benefits and seeing the good times come. And hopefully some more good times at St Mary's tonight. But either way, we will be here to talk about it after the show. But until then, Saints fans, have a wonderful day, a wonderful trip to St Mary's, and most importantly, come on, you Saints!
Whee!